Have you ever thought that a player could challenge time itself? Not beat an opponent, not win a match, but beat the clock? Because that is exactly what is happening with Lionel Messi in the MLS. And the most striking thing is not that this is being said by a fan, or a journalist, or someone who lives off easy impact. It is being said by Eden Hazard, a footballer who was at the elite level, who played finals, who decided big matches, and who knows perfectly well when something is normal and when it is not. Hazard confessed something that seems simple, but actually says a lot. He said that every morning when he uses his phone, he comes across the same headlines as always. Messi scored 2 goals, Messi provided 3 assists, Messi was the man of the match, and then he added something that changes everything. I'm not even surprised anymore to see his name there. What surprises me is that he's still so decisive. And that's the key point, because one thing is to appear in the headlines, and something very different is to do it naturally, as if it were routine, at 38 years old, in a game that keeps getting faster and demands more and more, physically. Hazard was even clearer. He said that Messi's goals are not normal, that they are goals from another world, and he finished with a phrase that feels written for this era. He scores as if he were still 20 years old. That phrase is not just about goals. It's about precision, about reading the game, about knowing when to accelerate and when to slow down. It's about football intelligence, because Messi no longer plays against opponents. He plays against time, and even so, he wins. The irony is obvious. For years it was repeated that the MLS was going to be a comfortable retirement, a place to lower the intensity, enjoy yourself, fulfill contracts, and close out a career without pressure. Messi took that idea and shattered it into 1,000 pieces. He didn't just arrive in the MLS, he transformed it. He made it visible. He turned it into a global conversation. Today, the MLS is talked about all over the world, not because of the league itself, but because of what Messi does inside it. And Hazard understood that quickly. He said something that carries a lot of weight, coming from someone like him. The years go by, but Messi doesn't change. That phrase is key, because we are not watching a Messi adapted to a lesser role. We don't see him walking through matches or hiding or excessively managing his minutes. We see him being the protagonist, choosing where to hurt, making decisions that others don't see, stealing the spotlight in every stadium he visits, even on fields that until recently were not used to this level of attention. Now let's think about this calmly. How many footballers from his generation are still absolute protagonists? Most have already hung up their boots, others play a few minutes, some have become symbolic names. Messi, on the other hand, continues to be the axis, the engine, the player around whom everything revolves. His team plays what he proposes, the league organizes itself around his presence, and the public responds match after match. Here comes a reflection that is uncomfortable for many. Modern football is no longer measured only in titles. It is also measured in impact, in the ability to attract attention, to generate conversation, to make people who never watched a match sit in front of a screen. And in that, Messi is still alone. In Miami, in the MLS, on any field he steps onto, the same thing happens. Something is about to happen. What Hazard said has special value because it comes from professional respect. It's not exaggerated admiration. It's recognition between equals, between someone who knows what it is to compete at the highest level and someone who, against all logic, keeps doing it when he supposedly shouldn't anymore. In football, admitting that is not easy. And yet, Hazard said it without hesitation, because what Messi does can no longer be debated, only observed. Every weekend, a new play appears, a pass that breaks lines, an impossible goal, an assist that leaves everyone frozen. And every time someone doubts, Messi responds on the pitch. Not with speeches, not with gestures, but with football, with decisions, with a calmness that unsettles, as if he knew something that the rest still doesn't understand. Hazard defined it in the best possible way. This is something very rare in the world of football. And he's right, because it's not common to see a player at this stage of his career make a difference like this. It's not common to see someone who, instead of fading, keeps lighting up matches. It's not common to see someone who, far from saying goodbye, seems to enjoy it more and more. And that's where the big question appears, the one that lingers after listening to Hazard and watching Messi match after match. Until when? How long can he sustain this level? How long can he keep challenging time, logic, statistics? No one knows, but what is clear is that we are living through something that does not happen often. Because Messi is not closing a career, he is stretching a story. He is proving that when talent is real, it does not expire with age. And as long as he keeps stepping onto a pitch, and this keeps happening, football will continue to have that ingredient that makes it unique, the ability to surprise us, even when we think we've already seen everything. But there is something even more striking than the goals, the assists, and the praise from figures like Hazard. And that is the way Messi controls matches without needing to dominate them physically. Because today, Messi does not compete through speed or physical contact, he competes through absolute control of time. He manages the rhythms as if the match were a board game, and he moves the pieces whenever he wants. In the MLS, it's seen clearly. There are moments when Messi seems to be walking. He disappears from the frame. He lets the match go on without him, and suddenly, in a single intervention, he changes everything. A pass between the lines, a quick 1-2, a placed shot. He doesn't need 10 actions to influence the game. One is enough. That is what confuses opponents and what coaches fall in love with. Because playing like that cannot be learned. You either understand it or you don't. Many say that Messi is taking advantage of a less demanding league. But that reading is superficial. Because football is not simplified only by physical intensity. It becomes more complex because of spaces, because of quick transitions, because of the mistakes that appear when a match becomes disordered. And that's where Messi feels comfortable. Where others rush, he pauses. Where others force things, he chooses. There is an image that repeats itself in almost every match. Messi receives the ball with his back to goal, surrounded. He lowers his head for barely a second, as if he were calculating something invisible. And when he lifts his eyes, he has already decided. The pass goes where no one expects it. That is not youthful talent. That is pure experience. It is having seen thousands of matches before playing them. And here another dimension appears that many underestimate. Messi doesn't just play better than most. He makes everyone around him play better. Teammates who used to be average now look decisive. Players who didn't stand out now appear in the statistics. Not because Messi magically makes them better, but because he gives them meaning. He gives them time. He gives them confidence. Something very few footballers manage to do. That's why his impact goes beyond the numbers. When Messi steps onto the pitch, the match gets organized. The opponents know it, the referees feel it, the crowd expects it. Everything revolves around his presence. Not out of fear, but out of respect. That respect that only footballers who change the game generate. And at this point, an uncomfortable truth appears. Messi's retirement, when it comes, will not leave only a sporting void. It will leave a narrative void. Because we are not watching just a footballer. We are watching a central character of an era, the last great symbol of a football that still believed in talent above marketing. Hazard, without saying it explicitly, made it clear. Messi is an anomaly, an exception that should not exist at this age. And yet, he exists. He keeps deciding matches. He keeps being influential. He keeps being the name everyone looks at when the scoreline is tight. Maybe that's why each of his matches feels like a small event. Not because it's the last one, but because it could be one of the last. And that feeling changes the way we watch, changes the emotion, changes the tension, forces us to enjoy it in a different way. Because when Messi stops playing, there will be no immediate replacement. Someone equal will not appear. There will be great players, yes, but not one who combines history, talent, impact, and longevity like this. And we all know it, even if we don't say it. That's why, beyond the MLS, beyond Miami, beyond titles, what we are witnessing is something that will be missed. A way of understanding football, a way of solving things without shouting, of winning without imposing, of dominating without running over anyone. Now I ask you, do you think Messi can maintain this level until the end of his contract in the MLS? Or are we witnessing the final chapters of an unrepeatable era? I'll read you in the comments.